We all know recruiting is extremely important to the growth and success of our businesses, but it takes time. If you don't have time and you don't want to hire an expensive recruiter, stay tuned because I'm going to show you a way to build an automated recruiting system right inside of HighLevel. So let's get started. The first thing that we need to do is to build a form and a landing page. This is where all of our recruits, candidates, interested prospects are going to go and basically apply for this position. So to get started, let's build a form. Now, for the sake of speed, I've gone ahead and I've built the form already for us, but let's go ahead and jump into it just so I can show you what it looks like. Everything I'm going to show you in this video is customizable, so you're going to want to customize this based off of your business needs and what information you need. So I'm right here in the marketing tab. I clicked on form builder and then I clicked on my apply now form. So you can see here I've removed the background from this form, but basically I have first name field, last name field, email, phone, and state. There's a lot of standard options over here on the left hand side. And there's also custom fields to where we can create our own. Maybe we want them to upload a resume. We can easily do that if we go to custom fields, add custom field, and right here, the file upload. So we can click this selection right here and we can give it a name and we can choose the acceptable files that we want them to upload. And you can select allow multiple files if you want them to upload a resume and a cover letter or just multiple files. But I'm not going to do that here. Just wanted to show you how you could do that. And of course, you can adjust each field here by getting rid of them. You can edit the placeholders. There's a lot of really cool things that you can do here. And make sure that you add a button. This is something that a lot of people forget. They build a form over here in fields. They add all of the fields that they want to add, but they forget to add the button. So a very important step. It's right down here at the bottom. It's just a click and drag, and you can add a button. When you're done messing with your form, click Save Form. This is what we're going to embed on a landing page or on our website if we have a careers page. And this is going to basically collect applicants' info and, as you'll see later, add them to a campaign. So the next step is to create our landing page. That's done over in the Funnels and Websites section. I'm going to click on Funnels. And again, for the sake of time, I've already created one, but let's walk through it. Okay, so I have two steps on this funnel. I have the Apply Now page, and then I have the Thank You page. So this is the Apply Now page. I just put some verbiage on here. Obviously, you're going to put whatever you want on here as far as typically, if you look at most career pages, websites have a job title, a little bit of description about what the company is, what they do, what the job role is, and as well as qualifications, compensation, extras, and then some motivation text to get them to apply. Again, put whatever you want on this page, but we need to add our form. So let's do that. I'm just going to click that right there. Apply Now, and there we go. Now it's pulling in the Apply Now form that we just built. And again, this is very easy to edit. We're going to have videos in the future. If you want to learn how to build these landing pages, HighLevel makes it extremely easy for us as far as a drag and drop builder. If we want to, it could create a new section here. And you'll see you have a lot of different elements that you can add in. Headlines, paragraph text, subheadings, buttons, forms. You can even embed videos. That's a really good option if you have a pre-recorded video that explains the opportunity in more detail. Go ahead and plop that right here on this landing page. That way your applicants can decide if they want to apply for this position based on more than just a title, job description, qualifications, and the rest of that text there. So highly recommend if you have a video, go ahead and add it here. That works very well from what we've seen. Click Save. Again, make sure everything looks good on mobile. I think I have to add the form on mobile as well. Yes. Just the way that I created this page, I have two different forms. It's the same form, but one's to optimize for mobile view and one's for desktop. So there we go. We have our form. Everything looks good on mobile. Now let's go to the Thank You page. This doesn't have to be anything complex here. We can just thank them for applying. And you can tell them what's going to happen next. In this case, we're going to want to build an automated process for this. So it's a really good idea, in my opinion, And we've tested this, so it's technically not just my opinion, but this works very well if you inform them on what's going to happen next. You're going to get a series of text messages, emails. You're going to be going through a semi-automated sequence. That way they know what to expect, and they know that the phone number that's about to text them and or the email that's about to go out to their inbox is coming from you, and that they should open it and follow the steps. And if you want, you can send them to your website. It's just a example I have here. It's not required. And maybe you want to edit the button to say, something like that. Visit our website. There we go. Add a little action to the button. Again, this is not a design video. We're going to have videos like that in the future. It's going to go over all of the design features inside the landing page builder, but I think this is going to work for now. So there we go. We have our funnel now, essentially. Once we add a domain to this landing page, which if you don't know how to add a domain, go check out my video on how to do that. I'll put a link to it in the description below. It's very simple. But once we add a domain to this landing page, we can put this on Facebook job post and Indeed job post. We can plop this URL really wherever we want to out on the internet. We can run advertisements, sponsored ads with the link in here to apply. You can share it with anyone. There's a lot that you can do once you have a URL here, and basically you can plop this landing page out there on the internet for those who might be interested, and it gives them a place where they can apply and learn more information. Alright, so that's step number 1. Step number 2, we need to create a pre-qualification and disqualification process that the applicants will go through. That way we filter out the applicants who aren't serious, and the ones who are serious about the opportunity and want a chance to join our team will move forward in the process. Again, this is designed to save us a lot of time, to save you, the recruiter, a lot of time. You don't want to deal with people who aren't serious because they're just going to waste your time. So step 2, the pre-qualification/disqualification process is extremely important. You want to make sure that you spend a lot of time on this. What would pre-qualify someone and what would disqualify someone? Think about that in your head. Whatever you come up with, you're going to want to build that into the system. Typically, it's in the form of videos that they can watch. These can be expectation videos, videos explaining the opportunity in more depth so that they know whether or not they're truly interested. And again, surveys. You can put them through a series of surveys or questionnaires that's going to ask them a bunch of questions about themselves, about their work ethic, if there's any investment to get started with the opportunity. Maybe they have to get a real estate license or an insurance license or something like that. You can ask them, are you willing to invest and obtain the license that's required for this position? If they select yes, great. They can move on to the next step. We can have the survey pre-qualify them and let them continue. If they select no, not at this time, then we can have the survey automatically disqualify them, and the system will we can add them to another campaign saying, doesn't sound like you have the resources available for this opportunity yet. However, if you come across them in the future, please reply interested or something like that, and we can have it add them back into the system in the future. So a ton of things that we can do here, but basically what we want to do is we want to advance the candidates who are serious and are really interested in joining our team, and we want to disqualify the ones who aren't or just don't have the resources at the time. So let's jump back in and let me show you exactly how we're going to do that. Similar to how we built the form earlier, we can also build surveys. If we go to Marketing, Survey Builder, you can see I don't have a survey here, so let's go ahead and create a new one. And let me show you what I like to do first. I'm going to go to Options and name this survey so I know what it is. Alright, let's go to Styles first because I don't like this logo right here. So I'm going to want to remove agency branding. There we go. One thing that I also like to do is I like to get rid of the border. I don't like this little line around the edge of my surveys, especially when we embed this on a landing page later. You're going to see this line, and I just don't like that, so you can keep it, but I'm going to get rid of it. Just reduce that down to 0 pixels, and now it's gone. Just like the form, if we wanted to remove the background, we can take this little slider here and adjust that all the way down, and now we don't have a background. For right now, let's go ahead and keep that white background though. Now we can go back to fields. I like to start off with some sort of an introduction. So if we we drag a text bar in there, click on that, what do we want to add? And add a welcome message there. And I'm just going to add some text to tell them what the survey is about, how long it's going to take, and how to get started. All right, here we go. I got our first slide taken care of. Please complete this short questionnaire so we can get to know a little bit more about you. You can also add emojis in here. Press the start button below to get started. This is also a little play emoji basically, and when it comes through on the preview on the actual survey, it looks very similar to the button that they're gonna have to press. So little trick there. It takes about 5 minutes to complete. And the next slide, let me show you how to add a custom field here. So again, we can add text, large text, numerical. We can add a lot of different options here, multiple options, radio selection. Let me show you how to add a radio selection real quick. Maybe we want to ask them, but the required license costs about $400 in the state of Colorado. Are you willing to invest in the required license at this time? And so there we go. We're going to give them either yes or no. Just going to click save. You can see it's now a drag and drop option over here, so I'm just going to do that. And you can make this required by clicking on it and then checking the little required box here. They cannot proceed until they answer this. So now we can add multiple questions on a slide, or we can just have one question per slide and add a new one. Let's see, let's do one more example. I guess so the last example that I'll show you is maybe not a pre-qualification or disqualification question, but it might be helpful to you if this applicant gets all the way to the interview stage of the process. You may want to know something along the lines of, let's just add a text box here. And let's ask the question, tell us a little bit more about your schedule. Tell us a little more about your weekly schedule. About how many hours per week do you think you can commit to this career opportunity? We don't have to have a placeholder. Let's click save. Drag and drop that right there. You can see it's a big text box where they can write out a paragraph or more. This might be helpful if you have long response questions that you want to ask your candidates. In this case, if it's a sales opportunity, a lot of times they'll work multiple jobs, and if you want them to be able to commit at least 20 hours, you can have that here. You can also create a radio field. Let me just show you that real quick. How many hours per week can you commit to this job, blah, blah, blah. And right here, we can say, less than 20 hours. You can just keep it that simple if you'd like. Drag and drop that there. Let me show you real quick how to pre-qualify them or disqualify them. So I have two questions that are pretty much pre-qual, disqual questions. Maybe this is a deal breaker. If they can't commit 20 hours or more to this opportunity, then they're just not going to be successful. So for the first option, less than 20 hours, I want to disqualify them. So I can disqualify them immediately, but what I recommend is disqualifying them after they submit the form. There we go. If they say they can give us 20 hours or more, perfect. I want to move them to the next question here. And if you're done asking questions, I recommend just putting some text on here that says how to submit the form. All right, so I just put in here, press the submit button below to finish. I don't want this to be quite that big, so let's back that down to 20. And there we go. That looks good. Again, build this out the way that you need it. But that's the basics of building a form. Now let's click Save Survey. And we can go to the next step. All right, so at this stage, you can either continue to build a series of surveys if that's just the one that you wanted them to complete before moving on to the next step. Maybe the next one is a little bit more in depth. You're refining it a bit more. The first one is to filter out volume, but the second one is to really define who's serious about the job opportunity. So you may want to create a couple different surveys for that. For this example, I'm not going to do that just for time's sake. Another couple things you want to do, I think I mentioned earlier, is creating videos. People love videos. They'll sit there and watch videos more so than engaging in written content or something like that. So if you and your team can record a video explaining the opportunity, what's involved, setting expectations and whatnot, I highly recommend integrating that into your pre-qualification or disqualification process, because again, I'm going to show you here in a second, we can actually create trigger links to ensure that they actually watch the video. So if they don't click on the link to watch the video, there's no way they can even move to the next step of the process. So before we go on to the pipeline stage, I want to show you really quick how to create a trigger link. Okay, so to create a trigger link, it's pretty simple. We're just going to go into marketing, trigger link. Maybe I want to call this opportunities video. And then this is where you would paste the URL in right here. And then you would just click save. Now we have our trigger link that we can build into our campaigns to ensure that our applicants watched the video. Now we can move on to the next step, which is building a pipeline. To build a pipeline, we're going to go to settings, pipelines. We're going to create a new pipeline for this example, and we're going to call this Recruiting 101, something like that. You can name it whatever you want. And now this is where we have to really understand what our process is. What stages are they going to move through before they become a new teammate or a new employee? I've got some basic steps here that I'm going to share with you, but again, customize this to your needs. I'm just going to go ahead and fill in these stages real quick and show you what I come up with. All right, so I have new applicant, survey submitted, booked interview, and start onboarding. The idea behind this is as soon as someone applies for this position, they find our landing page, they fill out that apply now form, they're going to get added to the new applicant stage of the pipeline. And the system's automatically going to push them to try to complete that survey that we just built. If they do, we'll have the system add them to the survey submitted stage of the pipeline and any other pre-qualification or disqualification steps in between. Once they do, we're going to give them a link to our calendar to where they can book their own interview with us. Once they do that, they'll wind up in this stage of the pipeline. And if we have our phone interview, Zoom interview, however you conduct your interviews, once that's happened, if you want to extend an invitation for them to join the team, then we're going to have a step here that says start onboarding. And if we wanted to, we could also add a stage that says something like, not a good fit. We can create a campaign behind this. As soon as they're drag and dropped into this column here, we can have it send out a really nice professional email saying, unfortunately, we've decided not to move forward with you in the application process for whatever reason. However, if in the future you want to reignite your efforts to join our team, feel free to contact us through our website or something along those lines. Again, not required. I'm just trying to get the wheels turning so you can see the full possibilities of the system, because the system is truly great. Click Save. Now we have our pipeline. The pipeline is also known as the Opportunities tab. So if we go over there, we have it set to our original pipeline that I built in another video, but let's change that to our new recruiting pipeline. And you can see the stages pop up right here. So again, if they fill out the form, they'll wind up right here. Once they complete the survey, they'll get moved to this stage automatically. You're not going to have to come in here and do this manually. Once they book an interview with you, they'll wind up here. And then if you like them, you can just click, drag. This is where the manual process comes in. You'll just click and drag them from booked interview to start onboarding, or from booked interview to not a good fit, depending on if you want them on your team or not. So that's step 3, how to build a pipeline. Super simple. The hardest part behind building a pipeline is just understanding what steps you need in the process. And feel free to use this one, and feel free to create your own based off of your own recruiting workflow. Let's jump to step 4. But before we do, I just want to say if you're getting any value from this video so far, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and click the subscribe button below. Let's jump back into step 4. Step 4 is going to be building the campaigns. Now, the campaigns are basically going to inform your applicants on what to do. They need to have instructions on what to do next, whether it's watching a video, filling out the survey that we built. So I'm going to show you how to build a campaign for new applicants to get them to start the survey. I'm going to do create campaign. We're going to call this one new applicant. And let's send them an email. Now, I'm going to keep this very basic, but you're not going to want to skimp out here. You want to build something really nice and informative. Hey, contact first name. Thanks for applying. To get started, please take a minute to complete the short questionnaire below. And this is where once we put that survey on a landing page, similar to how we put the Apply Now form on the Apply Now landing page, all we have to do is highlight it, and we can link that right here. If we created it as a trigger link, it's going to pop up here under the link list. And if not, then we can create it as a custom value and then drop that custom value in right here. To show you that, let's just assume that we made it a custom value. I can come to custom values here, custom values at the bottom. Let's just assume that this calendar custom value is in fact my questionnaire. I can just come in here, cut this, highlight this, link it, and then paste it right in there. And we don't want it to interrupt the email. We want this to open in a new window. So we'll select new window as the target option, click OK. Now you can see that it's highlighted because it's a link now. You'll receive information regarding the next steps after you submit the survey, and then some sort of a footer, usually something like your name, the company you work for, or whatever you want to put here. So I'm going to leave it at this and just click save. If you want to, you can basically tell them the same thing in a text message. Just like that. And you can send a test to yourself if you want to see what it's going to look like coming across a mobile device. So you can just, I recommend doing that here because I recommend testing everything. So go ahead and test that real quick. You want to keep your text messages a lot shorter than your emails, obviously. Text messages cost money. You can see the approximate cost right here. You want to keep these very short if you decide to use them, especially if this is going to be going out to thousands of applicants. You definitely want to keep these short, and you may not even want to use them at all. But I definitely recommend using them just in case you get a bad email, or that email finds its way in the spam folder or something along those lines. You have two methods of communication here. Sometimes they won't get the email, but they'll get the text, and vice versa. Sometimes the text gets blocked or they're out of service and it's unsuccessful. It doesn't get delivered properly, but they have that email. So I recommend using both, but it's not required. So now this campaign here, our new applicant campaign, is not activated until we activate it. So it's in draft mode right now. I'm going to want to select published. There we go. Let's just check out campaign configuration real quick. We don't want this to stop on response. I'm going to uncheck that and click save. And the reason behind that, if they get this text message immediately and they go, okay, thank you, I will in a minute, or I will when I get off work, or something along those lines, it's going to consider that a response to the campaign, and it's going to stop the campaign. And the next step I'm going to tell you to do is you're going to want to build multiple emails and text messages, not a ton, but maybe a multiple saying, reminder, let's just do a text real quick. There we go, reminder, don't forget to complete the short survey, blah, blah, blah. Give them a link again. Click save. Maybe we want to wait a day. So I'm going to change this to send after 1 day. So now as soon as they apply, they'll get an email and a text. And I can actually delay the text a bit. This is a trick that I like to do because if they take action and fill out the survey in our email, then the text won't go out and we don't have to spend the money on that text. So sometimes I'll delay the text by 5 minutes, or if it's a longer survey or questionnaire, maybe I want to do 15 minutes. There we go. An email initially, hour later they get a text, complete the short survey below. If they don't take any action, we're going to remind them a day later. And this is a day after this text goes out. That's how we complete a basic campaign. You're going to want to do this for every stage. So this is the new applicant stage. We're going to also want to create a campaign for when they complete the survey. So I'm going to call this one survey completed. And it's a really good idea to call this whatever you put in your pipeline. I think I used survey submitted. So maybe I'll change it to that, just to keep everything uniform. And I'm not going to add this to a folder right now. Click Save. And for this one, just turn that off real quick. Maybe I'll say, call this one survey completed up here in the subject. And then right down here, you can write something along the lines of, thanks for completing the questionnaire. The next step is to, and then guide them to whatever it is your next step is. So I'm going to go ahead and type out something right here real quick. Hey, first name, thank you for completing the survey. The next step is to watch a short video that describes the opportunity in more detail. And then we're going to link this to the trigger link, if you remember, to make sure that they watch the video. But first, let me make this a little bigger. I want this to really stand out. So there we go. Watch the video. And let's link this. We should have this as a trigger link right here, opportunities video. Open that in a new page. So there we go. After they complete the survey, they'll get added to this campaign, which is going to push them to watch this video. And click Save. And again, build out your text messages and your follow-up emails and text messages below here, just like we did on the last campaign. Don't forget, when you're done, publish it, or else nothing will happen, and that's not good. So there we go. We have that campaign built. So we have new applicant, survey submitted. What happens next? After they watch the video, we want them to maybe complete another questionnaire or survey, or if they watch the video and they've made it this far, maybe we just want to give them our calendar link where they can book their own interview. And for the sake of time, I'm just going to create that step right here, just to show you what that's going to look like. We're going to create a new campaign. We're going to call it Video Watched Book Interview. Time to book your interview. And right here, I'm just going to say something along the lines of, well, I'll show you what I write. All right, so I have, did you finish the video? I hope you enjoyed it and even more excited about this unique career opportunity. If you're still interested in joining our team, just put some time on my calendar below so we can chat. Again, I like to make these bigger so that they stand out. You can bold that and link that to the calendar. There we go. But what if they're not interested? Let's make this one bigger too, kind of like a heading, if you will. What happens if they're not interested? If you're not interested, just click here. Again, we want to link that. We can link that to our unsubscribe link. I showed how to build an unsubscribe link in another one of our videos, so if you haven't yet, go back and watch that. It's extremely simple. If you know how to build basic trigger links, you can do the same with an unsubscribe page. And again, want that to pop up in a new window. Just click here if you're no longer interested and want to be removed from the application process. And then your footer. So now they can either book an interview with you if they are still interested, or they can essentially unsubscribe and not be considered for the position anymore. This is great because maybe after filling out a few of these surveys, they realize that maybe it takes a little bit more of an investment to get started, or that this opportunity is just not the right fit for them. It's really important to give them a way to opt out and a way to advance. So if they are okay with the investment and they want to continue, they want to talk with us and get started, we can have them book right on our calendar here. So the super cool thing about this process right here is that once they get to this step, they've already been pre-qualified through submitting surveys, forms, watching videos, stuff like that. So you know that they're interested, you know that they have whatever resources that they need to get started, whether that's a financial investment in some sort of a course or licensing, certification. So at this stage, you've already disqualified a ton of applicants. The ones that are pre-qualified are now able to book directly on your calendar. So if you think about it, you're only getting booked interviews on your calendar from candidates who are serious about the opportunity and they have the resources to move forward. This feature alone is going to save you a ton of time and a ton of money. So I'm just going to leave it at that, and we're going to click Save. And again, put in your text messages and your follow-up emails, publish that. Let's go back and see what we have. We have new applicant. We're going to try to get them to complete a survey. We have survey submitted. Once they do complete the survey, we're going to try to get them to watch a video that sets expectations, talks a little bit more in detail about the opportunity. Once they click the trigger link and watch the video, we're going to have them get added to this campaign right here, which is video watched, time to book interview. And then if we go to our pipeline, we can see the next steps would just be to start onboarding if they are a good fit, or disqualify them because we interviewed them and they're not a good fit. So let's create a campaign for this one and a campaign for this one really quick. All right, so we have application decision as the subject. Hey, first name, I want to extend an invitation for you to join our team. We were very impressed with how well you interviewed and would like to have you on our team, blah, blah, blah. You can write whatever you want here. And if you have some sort of a next steps, maybe that's getting in contact with you, getting with your HR department, you can put those instructions in this email right here. Click save. Don't forget to make your follow-up emails and text messages right here. You can put it just a simple text message that says, application decision, please check your email. Contact us if you did not receive it, or something along those lines. You can do that here. Don't forget to turn that off. Click save. And most importantly, don't forget to change this to published. I want to pause for a second and throw in a quick little bonus for you. If you have a series of onboarding training videos or some sort of a training process that you can put them through where you've already typed out those emails, you've already organize those videos or training seminars or something along those lines, you can actually build that directly into HighLevel as well. If you'd like for me to show you how to build a training tutorial right inside of HighLevel, leave a comment below and I'd be happy to make that video in the future if enough people comment. But let's get back to the campaigns. We're almost done with this step. Okay, so we have these four campaigns built out, and looks like we just need one more for if they're not a good fit, what do we want to send to them? So I'm not going to really spend too much time on this one. I'm going to call this one not a good fit. Put the subject as application decision, and then you can type in whatever you want here. Click save. Published. So now we have all of our base campaigns right here, from new applicant all the way to not a good fit. Now we can move on to the next step, which is creating the triggers that power the system. I'm going to click on triggers, and we need to create triggers for every step, similar to how we just created campaigns for every step. We'll start off with step one. Trigger one is going to be new applicant. Here we want to select form submitted, what form, our apply now form. As soon as they submit that, what do we want to happen? We want to add them to our recruiting pipeline. What stage? We want to add them to our new applicant stage. And if this was a specific source, you can put that in right there. So for example, if you put this URL with the apply now form on it, the landing page URL that is on, let's just say an Indeed ad or something like that, you could source this with Indeed. That way you know where that applicant came from. And we'll keep this open. What else do we want to happen? Well, we want to add them to our pipeline, but we also want to add them to a campaign. So again, look through all the options here. There's a lot of really cool stuff you can do. You can add contact tags to them. But right now we're just going to add them to a campaign, and we want to add them to our new applicant campaign, because remember in this campaign it's going to get them to start the questionnaire. So let's keep it at that simple for now. Click save. Don't forget to take it from draft mode and activate it, or else it won't work. We're going to add another trigger here for when they complete the survey. We're going to call it survey submitted. And this is pretty easy to follow, pretty self-explanatory. If you just kind of scroll through the options, it's pretty intuitive. So if I click survey submitted, what survey? Our applicant survey. And the disqualification is false, meaning that they are actually pre-qualified. What do we want to happen? We want to update our pipeline. We want to add them to the stage survey submitted. We want to keep this open. So we want to, again, add them to a campaign. Select your campaign right here. We're going to select survey submitted because this is going to get them to watch the video next. Save, activate. Move on to the next one. Video watched. This one's a little different. Since this is a trigger link, we're going to need to go to trigger link clicked. What trigger link? The opportunities video. All right, trigger link clicked. The trigger link is our opportunities video. When they click this link, what do we want to happen? Well, we want to, and this is actually a step that I forgot to do on the last trigger, so you're going to want to go back and add that. But the first thing you want to do is remove them from the previous campaign. So we want to remove them from the survey submitted campaign. We want to add them to the campaign video watched book interview. They click the link to watch the video. We're going to want to add them to this campaign and remove them from the old one. I just want to take a minute to go back and adjust this one. So we're adding them to this campaign, but again, we don't want to forget to remove them from the other campaign, which is new applicant. Or else they're going to continue to get those follow-up emails and text messages, and we don't want that to happen. Click save there. All right, let's see what we have. We have our new applicant trigger, survey submitted trigger, video watched trigger. So now what happens when they click the video watched campaign, they're going to get added to the video watched book an interview step. So the next action that they can take and that we want them to take is to either unsubscribe, which I have that right here. If they click the unsubscribe link, we're going to remove them from campaigns. We're going to want to duplicate this trigger right here and make sure that it's the correct pipeline. So, if they clicked that and they're in our recruiting 101 pipeline, we want to remove them from that, add the tag unsubscribed, and enable the do not disturb switch so that they don't accidentally get added to any more campaigns in the future. I'm not going to save this one though, but you'll need to create this trigger as well. The other action that they can do is they can book an interview with us. Now, I've already created that trigger up here for booked consultation. In this case, it's booked consultation, but just to show you how to build one, we're going to want to create one called booked interview. Save. And right here, maybe we want to create a custom calendar just for interviews. We would have done that in the settings tab, settings and calendars tab. But let's just pretend that they're in our calendar, schedule with me. And now you're going to want to create another calendar called interviews or something like that. But let's just pretend for a second that this was our interview calendar. We'll select that calendar. We'll make sure that the appointment status is confirmed. What do we want to happen when they book an interview? We're going to want to update them in our pipeline. Recruiting pipeline, we want to add them to the booked interview stage, keep it open. What else do we want to happen? Other than moving them to the pipeline, I think it's probably pretty nice if we got notified. So it's pretty cool here. We can do a few things. We can send ourselves an email. We can send ourselves a push notification. If you have the mobile app downloaded on your phone, this is just going to be a simple push notification that comes through. we can send ourselves a text message. I'm just going to select the text message. This is where you would put in your phone number right here. And then we can just say, new interview. The next step is going to be the start onboarding if they are a good fit, or if they're not a good fit, we want to add them to that not a good fit campaign. So let's go ahead and build out those triggers now. So to show you what we're going to do now, after they're going to automatically find themselves in the booked interview column here when they schedule their own interview with you, but you're going to need to drag and drop them to one of these two columns here. Either they are a good fit and you want to start the onboarding process, or they're not a good fit and you want to send them a nice little email saying that, I'm sorry, but unfortunately we decided not to move forward with your application. What happens when you drag and drop them to this column? That's exactly what we're going to build right now in the triggers. So add a trigger. We're going to call this start onboarding. And this one's going to be a little bit different. Pipeline stage change. In pipeline recruiting. And the stage is start onboarding. So they're in the pipeline, the recruiting pipeline, and they get moved to the stage start onboarding. What do we want to happen? Well, first of all, we're going to want to remove them from the campaign, which would, in this case, it would be appointment reminders. So make sure in the step before that you have them added to the appointment reminders once they book an interview on your interviews calendar. You're going to want to also add them to the appointment reminders so they don't miss their own interview. But in this case, that would be their last campaign, so we can remove them from the appointment reminders campaign here, or we could remove them from all campaigns to be safe. So we want to update them in the recruiting pipeline. What stage? We want to update them to the start onboarding stage. This basically means that we decided to at least extend an offer for them to join our team. Now the status, this is up to you. Do you want to consider this a conversion at this point? And maybe we also at this stage want to remove them from our pipeline because we don't want the pipeline getting cluttered up. To do that, you just click remove opportunity. Let's go ahead and add them to the campaign. Start onboarding. Let's click save, activate. And I think that looks pretty good. So now the last thing that we need to do is select or to build a trigger based on what happens if they're not a good fit. Probably understand now how to do that, but let's go over it real quick. Not a good fit. Again, pipeline stage changed. In pipeline. Pipeline stage. Not a good fit. Let's remove from all campaigns. Let's remove them from the pipeline. And let's add them to the campaign. Not a good fit. Let's click save, activate. There we go. To organize these, I might just create a folder. Call it main sequence or something like that. And we can actually move all of these to that folder. There we go. Now we're nice and organized. I like to keep everything organized in folders so that it's easy to come back and adjust in the future. The last step is to just test the system. You want to test everything before launching it, before putting any actual applicants through the system. You're going to want to go through as an applicant, put yourself in, go ahead and fill out that form, put yourself into the sequence, and just see if it works the way that you want it to work. There's a lot of things that I didn't go into in this video. A lot of details, specifics, opt-ins, opt-outs, more pre-qualification, disqualification steps, but hopefully you kind of get the gist of everything. You know how to build campaigns, you know how to build triggers to push them through the campaigns, you know how to build surveys, forms now, landing pages. Hopefully you have all of the tools that you need to build a really awesome semi-automated recruiting system that's going to save you a ton of time. This can be your 24/7 automated recruiter that works around the clock for you. In fact, some of the things that we see, because we do have a recruiting system already built out. So if you're interested in learning more about that, feel free to get in contact with my agency and we'll be happy to build out a custom recruiting system just for you and your business. Also, if you're looking to just build your own and you want to use the HighLevel platform, if you click the link in the description below, you're not only going to get a 14-day free trial with HighLevel, but you're going to get our snapshot, the snapshot that you're seeing right here, where it's going to be a little bit of a head start for you. You're going to get these triggers already built out for you. You're going to get the campaigns already built out, as well as a cold email campaign, reactivation campaign, appointment reminders campaign, and probably some more stuff that I'm forgetting. So if you want a head start with HighLevel and you don't want to build all this out from scratch, use my link in the description below, and you're going to get all of that automatically included, free of charge. If this video was helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos in the future using the HighLevel system. We're going to show you all kinds of tips, tricks, and hacks inside of HighLevel that are going to save you a lot of time and money. My name is Dalton. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.